Welcome to the educational channel. This is episode 7, Reading Comprehension and Summary Making. Here are a few tips before we start the reading comprehension. Have a look at the questions before you read the passage. Read the first sentence of every paragraph. Pay attention to the transition words and discuss the meaning as if you were talking to someone else or telling someone else the answers. When you come across a difficult word, try to guess the word from the meaning in the paragraph. Go back and reread after you answer the questions. So as we said, we should start with reading the questions first. Question number 1. Which of the following would be the main idea of the third paragraph? In order to know the main idea of the paragraph, we need to skim the whole paragraph. And the main idea is the main point of the paragraph, the important thing that the whole paragraph is talking about or discussing. The author can locate the main idea in different places within a paragraph. Question number 2 asks us about the word abundant. What does it mean? When we want to look for the meaning of the word, this needs careful reading and scanning. Another thing you can do is build up your vocabulary so you can easily identify the synonym or the antonym of a word. Focus on the sentence you're reading. You may understand the word through the context. Question number 3. What does the underlined word it refer to? Words such as this, these, it, or they are used in specific sentences. You need to scan the targeted paragraph and read the sentence to understand what the word refers to. So pay attention to the sentence, even the sentence before the article given. Question number 4. According to the passage, dry and hot deserts are formed. How? So how do we locate explicit questions? Something that has been clearly expressed in the paragraph. You can also scan the paragraph. Try to understand the question carefully and understand the paragraph you're reading. Then we have the productive questions. Question number 5 wants us to know, why are food plants important for smaller desert animals? Question number 6, what is a cold desert? Question number 7, how do deserts differ greatly in appearance? After reading the questions, we can now read the paragraphs. Paragraph 1. Deserts have come to symbolize for us places of extreme heat. The fact is, most of the famous deserts of the world are places where the thermometer goes bubbling away and where the sun intensely beats down. But this does not mean that a desert must be a place where it is always hot. If you found out the definition of a desert, you will understand why this is so. A desert is a region where only special forms of life can exist because there is a shortage of moisture. In a hot desert, there simply is not enough rainfall. So the definition holds true. But suppose there is a region where all water is frozen solid and cannot be used by plants. This satisfies the definition too. Only it would make this a cold desert. Many people do not know that much of the Arctic is really a desert. There is very little rainfall a year, and most of the water is frozen. So it is quite properly called a desert. The Great Gobi Desert in the middle of Asia is bitterly cold in winter time. Most of the dry and hot deserts, which we are familiar with, are formed by animal grazing, which makes it difficult for the plants to grow back. People cut trees in order to make houses and do other tasks. Some farmers do not know how to use the land effectively. In addition, there are some cases where the land gets damaged because of natural disasters, including drought. Deserts differ greatly in appearance. Where sand is abundant, the winds may build sand hills or dunes. These are sand deserts. Rock deserts consist mostly of bare rock, which forms fantastic cliffs and hills. No great rivers originate in deserts, but a river may rise in moist areas and cross great deserts on its way to the sea. The Nile, for example, flows through the desert region of the Sahara. The animals that exist in the desert are those that have managed to adapt themselves to its conditions. They must be able to do without water for long periods, or be able to reach water holes at great distances. They get what liquid they need from the sap of food plants and from night dew on leaves or stones. Let's go back to the questions and discuss to find the answers. Which of the following would be the main idea of the third paragraph? Let's take a quick look at the third paragraph to scan and look for the information given. It discusses here that dry and hot deserts are formed by animal grazing, which makes it difficult for the plants to grow. It also discusses cutting down trees and farmers not knowing how to use the land effectively, which causes damage. So when we take a quick look at the multiple choice given, are these solutions causes for dry deserts? Is this a reason for people to survive, or how animals survive the weather? The answer would be causes for dry deserts. Question number 2. What does the underlined word abundant in the fourth paragraph mean? Here it can ask for a meaning or a synonym. Let's take a look at the choices we have. Abundant, does it mean existing, plentiful, balanced, expansive? If we take a quick look at where the word lays in paragraph 4, deserts differ greatly in appearance where sand is abundant, that the winds can build hills with the sand. So it means that the sand is plentiful. There's a lot, plenty. Question number 3. What does the word it in the second paragraph refer to? Now here you may have to go back a few sentences to see what the word reference goes back to. Many people do not know that much of the Arctic is really a desert. There is very little rainfall and most of the water is frozen, so it is. If we take a look at the multiple choices, the answer would be the Arctic. Question number 4. According to the passage, dry and hot deserts are formed. How are they formed? If you go back and read or scan, you can also skim very quickly. The answer would be because of deforestation and overgrazing. Deforestation due to the reason that they cut down trees. And overgrazing is when animals feed a lot. Now we will answer the productive questions. Why are food plants important for smaller desert animals? You can find this in the last paragraph where it says they're important because the desert animals depend on the sap of the plants for liquid. This is where they get the water from. Question number 6. What is a cold desert? It is a place where all water is frozen and cannot be used by plants. And how do deserts differ greatly in appearance? The winds may build sand hills or dunes, and rock deserts consist mostly of bare rock, and therefore it forms cliffs and hills. That was the reading comprehension. Let's now move on to the summary making. And before we start the summary making, here are a few tips you should know before you answer the question. Highlight the major points in the paragraph. After you highlight the points, break them into smaller pieces. Write a sentence summarizing each idea. Then put them into a whole paragraph. Avoid repeating the ideas and don't forget to use connectors and paraphrase. Here are a few tips if you want to paraphrase. Paraphrasing, as you know, means that you put the text into your own words. You have to use your own words. Don't copy-paste the answers. Make sure first you understand the passage. Then break up the ideas and join them together. Elaborate on or shorten some ideas. Maintain the original idea from the passage. And here are a few tips on how to use your own words. Let's say there are a few words that you don't get. Here are a few tips to make summary easier, to make paraphrasing easier. You can change the vocabulary. For example, when I say other animals sleep through or hide during the winter, I can also say other animals hibernate during the winter. You can also change the verb form, changing active into passive or vice versa. For example, we call this hibernation. This is called hibernation. This is the same idea, we just flipped it from active into passive. Another way you can also change the sentence is to change the word class from verb into noun, adjective into adverb. For example, other animals adapt themselves to the weather in order to survive. Focus here, to survive is a verb. If I want to change it, I would say, other animals adapt themselves to the weather for survival. Simple change, I paraphrased. Let's take a look at this example before we read the question we have. Birds and butterflies fly to a place with nice weather. What do I call it when animals fly away? Birds and butterflies migrate to a place. And with nice weather, I can say where the weather is pleasant. When reading the summary, first read the question. What does it want from you? What ideas does it want from the paragraph? The question here is, how do animals and birds survive the cold winter? So I want to look for how do they survive. Let's read the passage together and we can find the answers. Winter can be hard for some animals, but they get through it in many ways. Birds and butterflies fly to a place with nice weather. Other animals sleep through or hide during the winter. Here you can see we find two ways. They fly to a place with nice weather, or they sleep through or hide during the winter. Let's continue. They save their energy and wait till food returns. We call this hibernation. This is the same idea. Snakes, frogs, and bears hibernate. These are examples. You can either eliminate them, not use them, or you can use them as an example in one sentence. Some animals store food in their homes. They live on what they saved in summer and autumn. This is what squirrels, beavers, and raccoons do. So, other animals live on what they saved. This is another idea. Other animals adapt themselves to the weather, and here we have our fourth idea. Some animals grow thicker coats in the winter. Other animals change color. The Arctic fox is brown in the summer and white in winter. This is how they adapt. They change color or skin. I have my 4 ideas, and it asked me for 4 ideas, and now I can write my paragraph. Let's paraphrase them and write them into one paragraph using my own words. I am using here a connector to begin my paragraph. I can say to start with or to begin with. To start with, birds migrate to places where the weather is nice. I can also say also to add information to the first sentence. So this is the other idea. Also, animals like snakes and bears hibernate during winter to save energy. And here I included the examples in my own sentence. And I want to add, so I said other animals, such as squirrels and raccoons, live on what they have stored in summer? Finally, or in the end, or to sum up, or you can use any connector according to what is asked from you. Finally, here is proper. Some animals adjust themselves to the hardships of the cold weather. And this is how we paraphrased, connected our ideas and put them in one paragraph. Don't forget 4 ideas. In this episode, we discussed how to extract relevant information after reading a passage to answer multiple choice questions and productive questions, and how to paraphrase and summarize. Thank you for watching.